West brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. 2 historic franchises with players spanning over the generations that have meant so much to their cities and their teams. 130 seasons of baseball for the Cardinals and the Giants, both with over 10,000 wins. Many, many postseason championships. 11 for the Cardinals, 8 for San Francisco. The most recent for St. Louis, 2011. 2014 for the San Francisco Giants. And you come out west in the Bay Area, cool temperatures, and that's what we have tonight. Here in Northern California, 58 degrees in beautiful Oracle Park. And with Jim Edmonds and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Always fun. 2 teams, 2 franchises that play each other very tough, especially in recent history, postseason history too. Jimmy, you're part of some of those great battles, postseason play with the Giants. It's always fun to come out here.
Yeah, it was interesting. The first few things that happened to me today was questions about, did you think this was different? Was it special? And you never thought about it like that, and it did. It turned into more of a rivalry than maybe say the Cubs did at certain times, or other teams. So this is a pretty good group of guys, and these 2 franchises have been butting heads here for a long time, at least since the 2000s.
Tommy Edman at the top of the lineup, then Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. Great numbers at this ballpark. O'Neill, Yepes, Bader, Molina, Carlson, DeYoung. It's a bullpen game tonight as Mauricio Jovera will get the start for San Francisco. So it's his first career major league start. He was used as a starter in 4 games last season at AAA. He was 0-1 with a 1.98 ERA. And there's a look at his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Signed by the Giants to a minor league contract in December. And the Giants, they don't use a 40-man roster. It's more like 60. And there's players in and out all the time.
I heard you say that earlier today, and I was like, 60, huh? 60. But there's no such thing as a 40-man roster anymore, because I feel like with the COVID and the injuries, you're going to pull from everywhere you can to be competitive for the whole season.
And the 0-1 pitch to Tommy Edman, whacked foul out of play. Just spoke to John Mozeliak, the president of baseball operations, about the health of the team, and no positive cases, so things look up. Well, and that's good news.
Really good news. And I was made aware of there was some COVID-related issues here in San Francisco, and maybe not with the team as much, but around the front office and around the ballpark. So mask up.
Well,
Danny?
They have had their share of injuries and guys that have hit the COVID list, so it has affected them. Cardinals picked up 5 first-inning runs in the ball game yesterday en route to a 10-0 win. Popped up left side, and the left fielder Darren Ruff is under it and makes the play, and the first out. Paul Goldschmidt on a 12-game on-base streak. 26 home runs in his career against the Giants, and he's driven in 97. As a matter of fact, Goldie and Nolan Arenado here at this ballpark, which opened in 2000, they are 1-2 in terms of home runs by a visiting player. Goldie with 13, Arenado right behind him with 12, and that's fouled back.
Yeah, if you're a San Francisco Giants front office and you're crunching numbers, you don't really want to see the first baseman and the third baseman come up in the same inning. That's scary, scary numbers, as we showed you earlier on today.
And it's a count of 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. Cardinals have 168 strikeouts coming into play tonight. That is fewest in the National League, and 3rd fewest in all of baseball. And Goldie has gotten hot with the 12-game on-base streak, and then Arenado, one of the best players so far this season in all of baseball. The 2-1 pitch, and it's now 2-2. Cardinals took 4 of 6 last year against the San Francisco Giants, a team that won 107 games. They won the National League West. Fangraphs projected the Giants to finish 3rd. They gave them a 5.7% chance of making the playoffs, and all they did is go out and win 107, and the most for a National League team since the 1986 Mets. That rolls up the third base line and foul. And a count of 2-2 with 1 out and nobody on.
Beautiful day, though, to be honest with you. I noticed that walking around the city today, it was cold and windy, and I feel like it does get windy in here, but not as bad. But I feel like when you get into this ballpark, the wind isn't as bad as obviously back at Candlestick, but just kind of not being effective or affected by anybody right now. And it's nice. It's nice in here. I thought it was going to be freezing. It doesn't seem to be too windy on the field, so a little bit better than it looks. And if he's got short sleeves on, that's a good sign.
Flags down the right field line, pretty still. Right center blowing out. But you can get those windy nights at this ballpark, and certainly you had that at Old Candlestick.
Well, this place is interesting because on the field, the wind blows at your back in the outfield.
The swing and a miss by Goldie in the first strikeout.
But if you look up at the flags above your head, it's blowing out. So what happens here is when you get used to it, the wind will actually blow over the stadium, hit the scoreboard, and come down and at your back as a player. So if you're not paying attention as an outfielder, it can throw you off a little bit. The ball will actually carry when you're feeling the wind at your back. It's only because it's coming down the back of the scoreboard. But the wind, when the ball gets up in the air, it's going to take off, especially to center and left, not as much to right.
There's Nolan Arenado. So Nolan drove in 5 yesterday in the win over Kansas City. That's his most as a Cardinal. The most he's ever driven in a game is 7. Did that with the Rockies. And the 1-0 pitch to Arenado. And Jimmy, you played all those years in center, and this is a tough outfield in terms of there's a ton of space. 391 to center. Triples alley is 415 right center, but also you have the brick walls. And so there's that. There's fencing that the fans can peek through in right field. So if you're unfamiliar with this spot, BP is a good place to go and learn.
You better get familiar with it quick.
Yes.
It's one of the unique places, and it's almost the opposite of, say, Pittsburgh, right? Where right center field is kind of left center field in Pittsburgh. But as a center fielder, you have to pay attention because any ball hit into right center field or even right field is going to have a chance to hit off that brick. And the one more thing about that too is you have to convince your right fielder to give up the right field line and worry about that gap. And you just have to tell him, I got your back. His ball's probably going to shoot out of there. But sometimes it can hit the screen. Sometimes it can hit the corner of the wall and shoot to right field. And sometimes it hits the wall and shoots into center field. So all hands on deck. And especially the second baseman's got to be aware of it also.
And the 1-2. Arenado hits it out to deep center. Yastrzemski back and makes the catch near the wall. 1-2-3 go the Cardinals. Michaelis on the mound for St. Louis. The Giants, National League team since 2015, and the Cardinals are 23-15. Surprisingly there, Pittsburgh, Miami, and then the Mets. But the Cardinals, as I mentioned earlier, this is a team, the Giants, that won 107 games last year, and the Cardinals took 4 of 6 head-to-head. And the red-hot Miles Michaelis is on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. April 9th, he made his season debut, and there's a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. That was against Pittsburgh. 2 runs, 6 hits, wasn't sharp in 3 2/3. Since then, 26 innings and only 3 earned. That's it. That's an ERA of 1.04. And here is Mike Yastrzemski, played in his first game last night, a loss to the Dodgers for the Giants. They were swept in a 2-game set. First game since April 23rd. He was on the COVID list and he went 1 for 4. on a 5-game hitting streak, 8 for his last 19. He extended it last night. He was swinging a hot bat prior to going on the COVID list, and that also is a bit surprising to see Miles go 3-0. A lot of first pitch strikes during these last 3 starts for Michaelis. There's a look at the lineup for Gabe Kapler. 4 pitches and a ball inside. How about that? You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. And I think the last start we talked about it, his first 2 out of every 3 pitches that he throws, he's pretty much a 98% or 88% strike ratio. 2 out of the first 3 pitches are strikes. And so, yeah, you don't see a whole lot of 4-pitch walks, especially walks in general.
And the batter is Jock Peterson, the former Dodger, Cub, and Brave. Won a world championship last year with Atlanta. Was hitless in the series against LA. He was out since April 27th. He had an abductor strain. They have really been hit hard with injuries. And then guys on the COVID list. I like that call there from Molina. 4 straight balls. Then you go with the curveball, and that kind of resets a guy to get behind the ball mechanically too.
You've learned a lot, Danny, in these 25 years you've been up here. It's amazing. Yep. Talked about the guys, even the Wainwrights and guys that have been around pitching. That makes you, and Hill was talking about one day, it makes you stay back and stay more balanced. And it's funny because it's like hitting, right? The less you think, sometimes the better you are. So you're not really thinking about your balance, but you're actually, the breaking ball is making you stay back a little bit longer.
The pitch taken in did not go.
I've always been interested to see what places certain pitchers don't like. You know, every place has a different feel, especially hitter and pitcher looking either at the backdrop, and right now it's got to be hard to see. So Yastrzemski was probably like super excited, but there's got to be places that the pitcher doesn't feel like he's very close to the plate.
Ground ball could be 2. Edman, a step on the bag and a double play, easily turned. Cardinals among the leaders in double plays turned. That goes Edman, DeYoung, and Goldschmidt. 4-6-3 on the double play. By the way, the 3-0 count on Yastrzemski, this could tell you how
rare.
Well that, yeah, Miles is pitching and how rare it is. It was only the second 3-0 count this year and the first 4-pitch walk of the season for Miles Michaelis.
I'm willing to bet when he was right a couple years ago, it wasn't a whole lot of those either for the entire year.
Totally agree.
I think the thing we missed right there on that double play was see how under control that DeYoung was turning that double play. He was on the second base side. He got the throw, but in his head, the ball was hit so hard, didn't have to speed himself up, took his time and made a nice throw. I thought that was pretty impressive.
That'll be off the glove of Nolan Arenado. Digging it out, O'Neill. His throw into second. Adios, goodbye, and let's go to the second. Flores trying to extend that to second base. Not a chance, says the Gold Glover. We're scoreless. Seamer for the fastball, slider, and a split finger as well. Last pitched on April 25th, the game against Milwaukee, and again this is a bullpen game for the Giants. Chevy called to the pen as Jovera, the starter, 18 pitches in a scoreless inning, mixed in a strikeout, and now it's Zach Littell. He's appeared in 6 games and has 6 scoreless innings. Tyler O'Neill, Juan Yepes, and then Harrison Bader. How about from a manager's perspective here, Jimmy, and the nightmare that this could be when you have the bullpen start, you think, well, okay, this guy's going and he's good against righties, not lefty. Oh, then this guy could come, he's good against lefty, not right. You know, well, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, I think it's some serious studying maybe the night before or a couple of meetings the day of, but I always find it interesting is how long can these guys go? So, you know, the starter only threw 17 pitches, which, by the way, 13 of them were strikes. So, I don't know why. Maybe another inning? I don't, you know, it's like the saying that we say way too often is the most truest statement of all times is you only know if you're in that dugout. You know, what people can do and what is available.
And here's the 1-2 pitch to O'Neill.
A lot of times, too, the coaching staff will tell you, all right, here's the script if it goes to plan. You give me the first. You give me 2 and 3. You've got 4. I mean,
I can't. It's like spring training.
It really is. The 2-2 pitch. The fastball taken high by O'Neill. And maybe, like we said in the open yesterday, gets him going. The triple the other way, then the home run down the line.
Yeah, and I guess, like, you know, even if you're going to throw a guy like this in the second, is he better off against the top 3 or the middle 3 or the, you know, it's interesting.
That's pulled foul. That was the Cardinals' 7th outfield assist. That was the second for Tyler O'Neill. Dylan Carlson leads the club with 3, and it wasn't even close for Wilmer Flores.
And I was going to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but I was going to say that had to be the easiest one of the year, because I could see it coming as soon as he picked up the ball. He wasn't even a third of the way to second base. Just wait to see if it's on the money, and that's it.
Well, here's what's interesting, too, about a bullpen start for the Giants. Last year, their bullpen ERA was best in baseball. It was 2.99.
First 4 weeks of this season, best in baseball, 1.54. Since April 28th, the bullpen ERA is 9.45, the worst in the game. And there's a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill. And it brings in Juan Yepez and the defense over Mike Yastrzemski playing center field. Darren Ruff in left, Luis Gonzalez in right. Vossler, Crawford, Estrada, Flores along the infield, and Kurt Casale is behind the plate. So Yepez, couple of hits yesterday and doubles hit down the right field line.
You'll take that debut all day long. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals announced their minor league player and pitcher of the month in April. They honored Moises Gomez and Gordon Graceffo. And Gomez is off to a terrific start as Yepez pops it right side.
Cheated, is he?
So Gomez, he is a free agent that signed with the Cardinals, and he was a top 20 prospect for the Rays, Jimmy, and became available. The Cardinals picked him up. He's got 11 home runs. He's driven in 25 in the first month. And by the way, he does not get cheated, this guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I like it. You know, same goes for the minor leagues too, right? If you sometimes get a change of scenery and a change of thought process and a change of just atmosphere, you know, minor leagues can be bad. It'd be tough. And I think we have a really good one. You know, we have a great atmosphere in spring training. The big leaguers are really good with the minor leaguers. The coaches are back and forth. We're all together in a complex, so it's different. So it kind of gives you a good feeling. Now, other places I've been, no. When I was with the Angels back in the day, the minor leagues were over here, and the big league team was off and gone. So it was a totally different feeling. You felt like you're on an island by yourself, and it didn't give you that vision of I ever have a chance to get there, because you don't even know what get there means or would look like. Not so much here with the Cardinals. A little bit better all the way around.
So the first action for Littell, we mentioned that he was activated prior to the game. He had 7 games he missed. He tested positive back on April 26 for COVID.
Fresh arm.
Yes.
Keep the weight on.
That's fouled back. Good battle here. At the time of his call-up, Juan was 3rd in the International League in home runs, 2nd in runs batted in, 5th in slugging, 4th in extra base hits. He had 14. Nolan Gorman was just named the International League's Player of the Month. The 2-2. I like what Ollie was saying before the game, Jimmy. He said, you know, if you look back the last couple of years, I'm not sure we had young players that were going to push some of the guys we have at the major leagues. Dylan was coming, he pushed. But now you got Yepez, you got Gorman. Soon it'll be Walker. Good players.
Well, what's crazy about that is, and the difference I think nowadays versus normal just prospects, they're putting up big numbers, and so you're hearing about them every day. Normally, you're just out there playing, and you don't hear about the minor league guys. And I think nowadays, more than before, you're hearing those names and you're seeing the social media, and the names are being brought up by the press. And so, yeah, they're definitely pushing now, as in the past, maybe not as much.
Yepez was originally signed as a 17-year-old by the Atlanta Braves. We'll have an 11th pitch of this at bat. And remember, he was traded to the Cardinals in return for Matt Adams, as Freddie Freeman got hurt, and they were willing to part with Yepez because they needed a bat and needed it quickly, and that was Matt Adams.
I'm going to say that I'm going to call a homer here tonight. Maybe not right now, but his swing looks good.
Inside corner.
But you got to swing.
And it's back-to-back strikeouts for
Littell. Which baseball movie is your favorite of all time? Fill out your bracket at MLB.com/bleacherfeatures and a chance to win a Hollywood Prize package, including tickets to the All-Star Game presented by MasterCard in LA. Harrison Bader hitting .234. 7 for his last 25 with a double and a home run. A big gap in left center for Bader. And it is a fair ball, just deaded at the plate right in front of it. And the Cardinals go in order. Midway through 2, and there's no score.
And let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny, some pitchers the day after a start take it easy, maybe get some treatment and rest. Not Miles Michaelis. Miles is in the weight room and he's hitting it hard. He told me the day after a start is the farthest I'm going to be from a next start, so it's my only chance to kind of put my body through the ringer, get a lift in, and help maintain my strength throughout the season. Danny Miles says he hopes by staying strong he can avoid injury. He also says he wants to look good in his uniform. As he put it, look good, feel good, play good.
And you know he's a incredible dresser. So that's the other part of Miles. Looking good, feel good, pitch good.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere before.
Uh-huh. And there's a strike to Brandon Crawford. Jim Edmonds Toyota, key to the game.
Well, keep the ball down. Use your defense, keeping the ball down, throwing strikes, and keep the ball out of the air. This team does a lot of damage over the fence.
The strikeout of Crawford in the first of the night for Michaelis.
That is a really, really nice sinker. And the thing that I love most about it is it's probably the hardest fastball he's thrown all night, and it had some nice run back to it. So look at this. It's what you're going to get with this colder weather, a little heavier here on the West Coast.
Late run, too.
Late run, but at 95. It's like 91, sinker, slider, sinker, curveball. Oh, yeah, watch this. 95. By the time as the hitter starts to pull the trigger, it's in the glove.
Here's Darren Ruff, left fielder.
24 games he's played in, no home runs and only 4 runs batted in. The Young up with it. And that is out number 2. Around the horn presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. O'Neill, Bader, and Carlson in the outfield. Arenado, DeYoung, Edmund Goldie on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Right fielder Luis Gonzalez. 5 lefties in the lineup for Miles to deal with tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage, the way he's throwing that sinker on both sides of the, and the thing with that is, for Miles, for him, all of the breaking balls and the cutters going in is, to him especially, is an advantage, because it's not like he runs a sinker down and away, which eats up a righty and makes it a little easier on the lefty. He throws a lot of cutters and stuff that comes down and in, and to me, those are the toughest pitches to hit, is something that's coming at you. And so that's what gives the righties so much trouble with the sinker. He doesn't really throw a sinker like that that some guys do, and a lot of his stuff breaks into lefties.
Fly ball into left center. Bader is over, diving for it, trapped it, gets up, fires into second base, and safe at second. Hustling all the way was Gonzalez. What a play by Bader to make that close.
Yeah, I thought he hurt himself too. That's a tough dive right there when you go from thinking you're going to catch it to trying to trap it. The way you're going to land is totally different. He didn't jump right up the throw. He almost ran this ball down. Just this is one of that ball that keeps running from you. I mean, a half of a second more right here, getting the ball out of his glove. 1/2 of a second more. And, ooh, wow, did you see that?
Very close. Almost got the fingertips
Looks
there.
like he did.
Cardinals not challenging. This has been the challenge for the Giants. Runners in scoring position. They are 8 for their last 44. They were 0 in the 2-game series with runners in scoring position against the Dodgers. It's a 182 average, the 8 for 44 in their last 6 games, and they have dropped 5 of the past 6. Tyro Estrada leads her club, though, and runs batted in with 14 as he slaps that down the right field line and out of play. But where they do strike is with 2 outs. 49% of their runs coming with 2 outs.
A lot of those probably being the home run. It's interesting, if you really dig into the numbers and you watch this game every night, you can kind of see where the struggles are, right? When you see a team that's lost 5 out of 7, and you just said they haven't hit the ball with guys in scoring position. Well, no kidding, right? You can only pitch so well if you can't score. And we watch it with our team, but every team has issues like that, and it just goes in spurts.
Tonight, the Giants trying to avoid a 4-game losing streak. They played so well a year ago. That only happened twice in the course of 162 games. Twice they lost 4 in a row. That was it.
That's having a fun year right there.
The 0-2 outside, and it's 1-2. Miles Michaelis, both he and Giants manager Gabe Kapler played for the Giants in Japan. Kapler did it in 2005. Miles there from 2015 through 17, and then signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
That was right on the page I was thinking about. Run the ball in on his hands and down. Looked like he was diving a little bit, even though he was late on a couple of those swings. He's leaning out over the plate. He can get under his hands. This might be a bad time for a slider or something hanging off speed.
And the 1-2 pitch.
There you go again. Good pitch.
Tied him up again.
I'll tell you what, that is going to have an everlasting effect on him for the next 9 innings or 8 innings. That's not fun. Now you're thinking, man, I got to get the bat head out. He's going to pitch me in. And then the slider opens up all day long on the outside corner.
And Estrada has struggled against the breaking stuff this year. Just 5 for 37 on breaking balls.
Maybe the big breaking ball right here, huh?
That's the one. Just like that.
I think you have pitch. What is it called? I can't even think of it anymore.
What, the
Pitchtronics? What is the thing in your hat? I think Yachty's listening to us. The ephus. What a view, huh, from up here? This is my first time.
You haven't been here yet?
No, not up here.
Oh,
it's amazing what you can see from up here versus being down there.
It's incredible.
I've had my back turned to all these years.
Look out to the bay.
Didn't know there was a, what is that, a port over there, a wharf, or kind of shipping area in right field.
We're in the China Basin here of San Francisco. '24 Willie Mays Plaza. That's taken inside.
All I can remember about here is the wind hit me in the back. It's cold, and the people in left center field and left field don't like me much. And they don't like anybody much on the visiting side.
Yeah, they're pretty vocal.
They might be as bad as it gets here for the visitors.
The 3-2 pitch with 2 outs, runner at second to Thairo Estrada. Couple of hops to Paul DeYoung, steps and throws and makes the play. Giants strand their first runner. We played 2, and Molina, Carlson, and DeYoung are coming up. The injury report, and it's Brandon Belt placed on the 10-day COVID list back on April 29th. It's odd that you come to San Francisco and it's no Brandon Belt. Longoria is out. No Buster Posey. He retired. He'll be honored here before the first pitch on Saturday.
A little different look.
I would say so. Littell, his second inning. He's coming off a season that was his career best. Career high in games, innings pitched, strikeouts. And the first man he'll see is Yadier Molina in his second inning. And Molina hits it out to deep left field. This ball is gone. The first of the season for Yadier Molina. 1-0 Cardinals. And Yadi has tied Ted Simmons for 9th all-time in Cardinals franchise history. Career home run number 172.
Did you see him put his hands up going across first base like, finally? Look at the first one in top of the dugout. That's how you do it right there. See how easy that swing is? But you know what the key is? He got his foot down, the hands got through the zone a little bit faster, and he got extension, easy extension.
His first home run, his first RBI of the season. He's now just 1 run batted in, away from 1,000 in his career. But how about that? He ties Ted Simmons, 9th all-time in Cardinals franchise history.
Oh, good swing.
0-2 on Dylan Carlson. Dylan did not start yesterday. It was Yepez in right, and the 0-2 pitch. Chased a pitch up and strikes out. And the first out here at the top of the 3rd.
Good velocity. Now, I have a question. If you're going to start with your bullpen, let's just say, why would you throw a guy an inning and then bring another guy in for 2 innings? Why wouldn't you throw the first guy longer than the second guy?
My answer would be that you feel that at the top of your lineup is your best hitters, and maybe I'm going to go with the. And I think I'm not taking anything away from Littell, but maybe he felt that was the better of the matchups.
Well, other than the home run, you got 3 strikeouts and a nubber barely got out of the infield or the batter's box. So I guess if you're percentaging, then yeah, you give up the homer. But this guy's got some pretty good stuff.
Ball and a strike on the Cardinals shortstop Paul DeYoung, and he pops it up into shallow right field. Luis Gonzalez has it for the out, and that's 2 away.
And I'm watching him hit, and it feels like every day he's going to break out of it. That swing was right there, and it's just one of those pitches like that right-hander on right-hander changeup you don't see very often, and he just gets underneath the ball. It's not, he didn't even swing up, he just got underneath it because it's the changeup. So really looking forward for him to break out really soon.
There's Tommy Edman, the Stanford product, not too far away from here, and he pulls it fair down the right field line, and Edman off to the races. To second base he goes, and that'll be a 2-out double for Tommy Edman.
I believe that ball hit the bag. I think
it
maybe
did too.
Just the top to just give it a little nudge. It's a heck of a try by Flores right there, but I think it gave it a little extra kick. Yep, like a little bicycle ramp.
But Tommy Edman now, he's 15 for his last 32. And he's right now the toughest guy to strike out in the big leagues. At 10.6 his strikeout rate, so he's really cut that down. The walks are up, he's getting on base. And a chance here for Paul Goldschmidt with a runner at second.
10.6, that sounds like a Mark McGwire home run percentages. Every 10
Well, you need to go to
bets.
single digits for
Yeah,
that.
oh, that's true. 9.5.
Yeah.
Can you
As
imagine?
Goldie pulls it foul. No, I cannot. Sharman, ultra strong stats, highest OPS at this ballpark, which opened in 2000. And it's Bonds, Goldschmidt, Moises Alou, and Pat Burrell, the slugger from the Phillies.
He played here for a little bit.
Yep.
I think he still lives in this area, to be honest with you. I mean, you think about that. If you have a 1 in 10 home run ratio, right? You're basically hitting a home run in the middle of every third game. A worst case scenario.
That's how you wind up with 586. The next to Paul Goldschmidt. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Goldie struck out his first time up. 26 career homers against the Giants. Had a couple of home runs against San Francisco last year. Had 9 hits in 6 games.
Look at the scoreboard right now. Doesn't that look weird? With nothing up there?
I'm assuming it's broken.
I'm just saying, like, but think of how much. So for me, as an outfielder, I relied on the scoreboard so much that if that happened, I would have trouble keeping the count in my head, because I had to look at it almost every pitch just to reassure myself where I was on the field for what count and how many outs.
Grounder hit to third. Bossler steps and throws, and the stretch hit first by Flores. Cardinals get a home run from Yadier Molina. They have an early lead midway through 3.
Yachty goes deep, and it's 1-0.
T-Mobile coverage cam. And a pretty clear night. Sometimes you can't see across the bay, but tonight you certainly can. Beautiful night here in Northern California. First of 4, Cardinals and Giants. 1-0 St. Louis, and this is Bossler hitting .276. Third baseman for the Giants.
To see when we landed yesterday over in Oakland, when we came across the bridge, that it was so foggy that you could see one building sticking to the clouds.
That was it.
It was cool looking, though. Interesting weather.
Interesting ballpark, located in the south of Market neighborhood of San Francisco. This ballpark holds just about 41,000. They tucked it in this little area here in San Francisco, and it's gorgeous. I mean, people love it. And I'm not sure, did you ever play at Candlestick?
I did a couple times.
I mean, it was so cold when you'd go there. The wind was blowing, and you had to bundle up. It could be brutal. The 2-2.
I got to meet Willie Mays there. The Giants and the visitors' clubhouses were right across from each other, like old school days, and you came out of right field, and you know, you had to both kind of, and you had to cross the field. I think I actually only played here once or twice, and Barry introduced me to him, and he said in a very sarcastic way, "I heard you made some kind of catch." And he just sobbed and laughed.
He has that high pitch.
Oh man.
3-2 pitch and a strikeout of Bossler, and that is number 2 tonight. Again, that's a pitch to a lefty, and they give up on it.
Yeah, and the thing too is when he throws it in there the most of the time early, it's a cutter. So whenever you see the ball in, and I think he just doesn't throw it where he's supposed to right here, but that still, you don't have much of a chance. He knows he got away with one with location, but he'll throw the cutter and the slider in there a couple of times during the early part of the at-bat, and so when you think inside, that's what you're thinking, and then he kind of sneaks that in on you, and you just really hope that it's going to keep breaking, and it turns out and goes the other way. It makes a little bit of a right turn, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Like right turn, Clyde.
Kurt Casale, he's got good numbers against Michaelis, 3 for 5 with a double, and he didn't like that call. Former Red, and he's hitting .167 to start his season. Little cutter taken low and outside, and it's 1-2, or rather, yeah, 1-2, excuse me. Joey Bart, who they're very high on, struck out 23 times in his past 48 plate appearances. So they're looking for production there. Third base, trying to get Belt back. Brandon Crawford, who was their MVP last year, off to a slow start. The 2-2. It's the reigning manager of the year in the National League, Gabe Kapler. And a swing and a miss. Back-to-back Ks for Michaelis, and that's 3 tonight. While we have a moment, quick word from Tickets for Less. Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout. First time through the lineup. 2 hits allowed, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts for Miles Michaelis, and a chopper hit into the shift, taken there by DeYoung, and Yastrzemski makes the third and final out. We move to the 4th here in San Francisco, and it's 1-0.
It's 8 or more gallons of gas at a participating station using the My Phillips 66 app and get up to 50% off Cardinals tickets. For more information, visit phillips66gas.com/Cardinals. John Brebbia is into the ball game, the former Cardinal. He pitched parts of 3 seasons, 2017 through 19, with St. Louis, and then he had Tommy John surgery, and the Giants paid him essentially. They signed him once he was let go by the Cardinals to rehab and take a chance on him, and the Giants do that with a lot of their players, not just pitchers but position players as well, and say, hey, we'll take a flyer on a guy, we'll pay him, but we hope the payoff is at the back end.
Basically what we did with Chris Carpenter, right?
Sure.
I mean, that doesn't happen a lot, but I think you have a guy that you can kind of trust. If he's healthy, you're going to get John Brebbia, and if you aren't paying him a huge salary, then it's worth it, because then if you don't lose a lot of money if he doesn't get healthy. But huge upside.
Brebbia pitched a couple of nights ago, 15 pitches against the Dodgers, and gave up a run in 1 inning. He's held the opposition scoreless in 7 of 9 appearances.
It just makes me laugh. He is some kind of quirky young man too. I love him.
2-1 pitch. That beard is reasonable right now, but
Just wait until maybe August, September to be down right about to the first button on top of the jersey.
To the Nike sign.
Yeah.
What's funny to me is he looks so rough and rugged, and he's got this little light voice, like you can
he's the
barely
nicest guy
hear
you
it
ever
when
wanna
he
meet.
said, "What's the count?" And that's what made me laugh the most. He's got 2 pitches to hit right here and just missed both of them. You can see in his face. He's like, "What do I have to do?"
Brebbia, there was a chance the Cardinals took. He was a Rule 5 minor league pickup for St. Louis in a move that paid dividends for the Cardinals. He was very good. And the 2-2. Arenado gets underneath it. Late break from the right fielder Gonzalez, but he is there to make the catch. So you have a bullpen start and also a lot of interchangeable parts for Gabe Kapler, to the point that last year the only player to start more than 90 games in one spot was Brandon Crawford. They had one last year that played 90 or more games and started at that position. It's amazing.
It can't be fun as a manager. I mean, you're kind of hoping.
But that's by design.
Yeah, well, that means you got some athletes. But you also would love to be able to just kind of pencil it in there for 3 or 4 days and just say, go get them.
But if you have the.
It's a lot of work.
You know what? If you've got the personnel to do it, though, it's going to give you a lot of good matchups potentially. That's whacked into left center, and a one-hopper off the wall, and Tyler O'Neill running with his helmet in his hand, not on his head, and the Cardinals have their second double.
His helmet always flies off. You know what? Did you see him grab his helmet during the home run yesterday? And he didn't even really overswing, and the helmet kind of bobbleheaded him a little bit, so he grabbed it. But I feel like he's feeling a little bit better, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's right there. He's not opening up as much. Watch right here. Yeah, he needs a tighter helmet. Oh, that's awesome. I couldn't do that. I would lose my mind. I would have to get a chin strap or a helmet that fit. Some guys just don't have that kind of head where things stay on it. There's always a few guys you see that, you know, that lose their helmet a lot. Whether it be hair or size of the head or... Played with Darren Erstad, and he wore a size 8. And they had a hard time finding him a helmet.
It's kind of like Bruce Bochy when he was here all those years.
I would think so.
0-2 the count on Juan Yepez. Struck out looking his first time up. And the 0-2 pitch with Bader on deck to Yepez. Juan hits it up the middle. Diving stop by Crawford, throws and not in time. It's a base hit for Juan Yepez, but Crawford saves a run.
100%. What a play. Get to see too many times where an infielder can get elevated and horizontal at the same time, and usually they're around the ground, but this is just a nice play right here. You can't do it any quicker than that either. And Yepez got down the line just in time.
Crawford's been doing it a long time. He is one heck of a player. I asked Ozzie Smith recently, I said, who do you like to watch? Who's a guy that you really enjoy watching play defense? And he mentioned Brandon Crawford. He said, that's the guy.
Does a nice job. 35 years old now.
Infield drawn in. Runners at the corners. Bader lines it to third. Picked by Bossler. The turn and out. They get the double play. Bossler, Estrada over to Flores. What a pick at third to start that double play.
Funds to help further its mission of caring for kids in the St. Louis community. Bid on autographed items, including baseballs, jerseys, photos, and more. New auctions are posted each Tuesday and Friday home game. Visit Cardinals.com/CC auctions to bid. Well, the Giants defense keeps this a one-run St. Louis lead. And the batter is Jock Peterson, hit into a double play his first time up. He grew up in the Bay Area, started at Palo Alto High School, then was drafted by the Dodgers. He grew up a Giants fan, having grown up around here. And mom and dad took him to the Giants last game at Candlestick, and he even went to the Giants World Series parade in 2010, despite the fact he had just been drafted by LA.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a strike. His brother, by the way, is the Double-A hitting coach for the Cardinals, Tiger Peterson. And the 1-2 pitch.
In the air to left fielder Tyler O'Neill under it to make the catch and the first out. By the way, Moises Gomez with another home run, the young Cardinal minor leaguer, number 14 tonight. Jimmy, he's hitting .413, 7 doubles, 14 home runs, 29 runs batted in Springfield. How about that start?
Wow.
That's the kind of guy
Pretty sure that Randy Flores has kind of had a little drive down there to check it out.
That's the kind of guy you move up and then see if you catch lightning with it.
It's about that time too, you know, if you can. It's been a month, but it's been a cold month too, which is interesting. And then you give him a few more, maybe weeks or something, to see what happens. Maybe you can get him to Double-A and then see what he does. And
well, he's at Double-A.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Triple-A.
get him to Triple-A.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Springfield used to be A ball back when I was a youngster, so I forget. But yeah, then you just see what he can do, and then you never know where he ends up at the end of the year.
Flores is 2 for 2 as that sneaks under the glove of DeYoung and a base hit into left. And the third hit for the Giants tonight. Tomorrow on Valley Sports Midwest, we've got Game 3 of the Blues playoff series with the Wild at 8. That's on the main channel, and we'll be on Valley Sports Midwest Extra, and both streaming on the Valley Sports app. Will come your way at 8:30. Blues at 8 on the main channel. Good luck to the Blues.
Cardinals turn to double play back in the first inning, and now it's Crawford. Slow start for Brandon Crawford, just 6 extra base hits. And he hits it out to left. Over to get it, make the catch. Tyler O'Neill spins and fires it back into the infield for out number 2. Here's Darren Ruff, who grounded out to short his first time up. Last season, Ruff, career best in home runs. He had 16 RBI and runs scored. Warming up for the Giants in their bullpen, Jose Alvarez. So they carry 4 lefties, and they've got 5 righties in their pen.
So if you're going to pitch games like this, you're going to have a bunch of lefties and righties. That's not the Jose Alvarez that used to play for the Pirates, right? The slugger?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so?
You're thinking Pedro
Alvarez, yes.
Former star at
Vanderbilt. Little chopper hit to second, and Tommy Edman will step on the bag. We played 4, and the Cardinals on top by a run. Giants coming up big. Yepez with a runner at second. Gets an infield hit, but that diving stop would save a run thanks to Brandon Crawford. So then the Cardinals had first and third with just 1 out. And Harrison Bader, a hot shot to third, and even with his speed, they're able to turn 2. The Allstate mayhem moments. Jose Alvarez, left-hander, out of Venezuela, and the 4th pitcher used by the Giants tonight. As Yachty hits it off the end of the bat, he'll check the bat. Then he homered. First time up back in the 3rd, and looks like he does want a new bat. Maybe chipped it off the end there.
Got a little sticker for that one. It's got a homer in it.
So with this home run, tying Ted Simmons' all-time list, 172, 9th all-time in St. Louis Cardinals history.
That was a little bit of a slider right there. It just rolled up there.
Right-handers are just 1 for 14 against Alvarez so far. And Yachty is now 2 for 2.
A base hit out to left. Ruff will get it back in, and Molina 2 for 2.
Yachty has now got his balance back.
You could definitely see that.
Yep. Get the foot down, weight staying back, throwing those hands.
There were so many things that went right for the Giants last year, and that includes Alvarez. After June 1st of last season, he had the 2nd lowest ERA in the National League down the stretch. He's very durable. Since 2015, he's appeared in over 400 games.
I wonder if that changes now with the 3-batter minimum, games-wise. You know, the average per year.
Especially with lefties, and you think about those specialists that would come in late.
Now you have 4 lefties on the same team, so.
Hit the other way, Dylan Carlson. Second baseman Estrada not in time.
See the infield suck that ball up a little bit? I thought that was going to shoot through for sure, and it just kind of died.
But Dylan needs that. That's a base hit.
He's not the only one. This bottom 3 or 4 guys They could use all the luck they can get right now. It's a heck of a play. Problem with that play is he's not just going to his left. He had to go full speed to his left, and there's just no way to really spin and throw. Normally, you only make that play if you're running a couple of steps, you know, out into the outfield grass. But when you have to run 20 and 30 feet full speed, it's really hard to stop yourself and throw.
DeYoung 3 for his last 37. Fly to right, first time up. And he takes a fastball low. Where you pull for guys like Alvarez. He spent 8.5 years in the minor leagues before making his big league debut in 2013.
That's crazy, and he's been up ever since.
He was signed by the Red Sox as a 16-year-old in 2005.
Maybe that might be the problem. He's got 6 years, Danny, of 60 or more, 64 actually, or more games appeared in.
Off the end of the bat, little squibber, and the tag applied by Flores, and runners advance to second and third.
So a chance here for the Cardinals, second and third, 1 out, and the batter will be Tommy Edman. And they want to talk this situation over. 8 for 21, Tommy, with runners in scoring position this year, and he did a lot of damage. Remember, Jimmy, early on in the 9 spot in the Cardinal lineup, and now he's been so efficient in what he's done and producing, they've moved him to the top, and why not?
Well, I always thought that he was a good candidate for the leadoff hitter. I mean, I think you have legitimately, you know, it was Carlson for a while, and it seems like, to me, he's probably my 3rd choice. And I think Tommy, and then you think maybe sometimes Bader.
With a lefty on the mound, yeah.
Yeah, just thinking speed and getting things moving. And then Carlson. But you got 3 good choices.
Well, Tommy right now is batting .313. And he'll add to it. Base hit into center. 2 runs will score. And it's a 3-0 St. Louis lead. Tommy Edman with a base hit to center. His 2nd hit tonight. And he drives in runs, 12 and 13 for his season. So a double, and now a single up the middle, and that scores 2.
It's kind of a little bit of a hanger right there, first pitch, and you think you can get away with it, and it just rolls up there. Times when it rolls up there that slow, hitter could just really see it.
Tommy Edman with a base hit into center, the BJC difference maker, and that would score Yadier Molina and Dylan Carlson. Pitching change coming up for the Giants. Prior to tonight's game, and he's back on a major league roster for the first time since April 27th of last year. I don't know about you, Jimmy. If I'm Ollie, I'm thinking maybe first pitch running, as Santos is probably thinking about a lot of different things.
Great
Hasn't
idea.
been in a big league game in a long time.
You got one of your fastest and best base runners on first base. 5 pitchers already here in the top of the 5th. 5. And you got 2 innings out of the second guy. So
Jovera went 1, Littell 2, Brebbia 1, Alvarez at 3rd, and now Santos.
98. Why has he not been in the big leagues?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, he has served his 80-game suspension. He did test positive.
That happens. Oh, that happened. Is that what you mean? That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh, that thing.
So he enters this season as the 15th best prospect according to MLB.com for the Giants in their system. at times he can reach triple digits. And the 1-2 pitch instead of check on Tommy Edman at first. So the Cardinals with 3 hits against Alvarez. They chase him. And the 1-2. Goldie tonight struck out swinging, grounded out to third.
Kirk Casale in his career has gotten 27% of would-be base stealers.
He's behind the plate tonight. There's a grounder left side, gloved by Bosler, and the turn is not in time. Extends the inning to Nolan Arenado. Arenado is lined out to center and fly to right.
Yeah, I kind of liked your idea there. I really did. And not because of the outcome, but it's a smart play right there. You get a guy who hasn't been around in a while and doesn't look like he's quick to the plate. The problem might be if he just comes up and they just added him, you might not have a time on him. And so you just want to see a pitch or two, but I do like your timing with that a lot.
That goes back to the point that we've made a bunch about, Pop Warner spending hours upon hours looking at film of every pitcher, the relievers, all of them, and he was just recalled right before the game tonight. So may not have a great idea on his time to the plate, but now you do. Get a better idea now.
Yep. I mean, it only takes a few pitches.
You might think about doing it here on 0-2.
I would think sometimes you would run here, because if you do make it, then that means you have another pitch, and if you don't make it, you give Arenado another at bat. You know what I mean?
And that's why I would do it,
because it's different if Nolan is, in front of, let's say, the bottom of the order, but the fact that he's got O'Neill behind him and Yepez and then Bader and Molina, I think it's a win-win if he gets a fresh new count next inning.
And the 1-2 is a fly ball hit out to center. Mike Yastrzemski makes the catch. A single by Edman brings in 2. And the Cardinals on top 3-0.
3-0. Tyler O'Neill had been struggling at the plate. He was dropped down to the number 6 spot yesterday and responded with his first homer since opening day and a triple. Had the double tonight. Tyler told me, I think I'm headed in the right direction. I pull a homer, I drive one to right center. That tells me I'm getting there. Tyler said he looks at video to check his swing, but he says the main thing is he has to work through it. He told me I'm a feel guy. I make adjustments based on how I feel at the plate, not how I look on video. Dan, Tyler says the most important thing for him is to trust his hands, trust his eyes, and he feels like it's coming around.
Well, you think about it, Jimmy, Tyler O'Neill, he's got an outfield assist tonight, but Cat, as you said, he's moved out of that 3 spot, and all 3 hits, extra bases, triple, home run, double. Takes a little pressure off maybe, and all of a sudden, maybe he starts to take off. Here's Luis Gonzalez against Miles Michaelis. Popped up left side out of play.
And from what I saw with him, it just felt like he was feeling his way through the at-bat instead of kind of just getting in there and doing what he normally does, which is being aggressive. And it's okay to swing through pitches. It's okay to miss. It's okay to strike out. But when you start trying to guide yourself and guide the bat through the zone, everything just gets slower, actually. And just put yourself kind of getting out of the way. It's like trying to get out of the way of a ball and hitting it at the same time. It just doesn't work that way.
The count of 3-1. Michaelis walked the first batter he faced tonight. Yastrzemski on 4 pitches. And that is ball 4. So the second walk for Miles. And a leadoff walk to start the bottom 5. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Well, the 3 runs the Cardinals have scored, the first runs of support for Michaelis since April 15th at Milwaukee. He's been getting some tough assignments as Arenado will go to second. Took a chance and got him.
Great play.
Wow.
Great play, and maybe a bad slide right here if you pay attention to this. Kind of slid with his foot up. Instead of really trying to get to the bag, he just took a normal slide, I think, thinking that Arenado's going to go to first. Watch this slide, Danny. I'm sure you noticed it before, but watch the foot up in the air. He never really gets there. Oh, I see what it is. In real time, it looked different, but he hit the ground so hard that his foot popped up, and then he tried to bring it back down, but it kind of slowed down a little bit.
Certainly that slowed him down just enough, that split second.
From this angle, I thought his foot was still high above the bag. See how it was high? But from in real time up here, I thought maybe his foot was still up in the air a little bit as he was passing the bag, and that wasn't the case.
So Estrada hits into the fielder's choice as Arenado makes a play that not a lot of third basemen are going to take that chance at second.
No chance.
And by doing that, you get a guy out of scoring position, but also now you got the double play in order.
Yep. It's a good call.
So here's Jason Bossler, who struck out looking his first time up. Cardinals with a shift on the right side. And the 1-0. Pulled foul. Jim, while we have a moment, huge Cardinal fan recently passed away last couple of days. Joanne Kurtz always watched our telecast. Her husband Red is probably watching tonight, so Red and Dan Kurtz as well. Very sorry about the loss of a huge Cardinal fan, great lady Joanne Kurtz. Shallow right, that'll drop. Base hit that Carlson will get in quickly. Estrada staying put at second base.
Thought he would have been a lot further along. He just sat there forever. So
he didn't get a very good jump.
No, he stopped. You know, I don't know if you were paying attention yesterday, but I was talking to Pop Warner on the bus, and somehow something came up with getting reads and jumps at second and first, and we were just talking about the tips on what pitchers do and stuff, and that actually came up, and we were talking about how interesting it is that certain guys, one, can read it and certain guys can't, and how different each one is between first and second base when you're running. Like, and what ball is, like obviously the ball in front of you is a little bit easier to read, so first base normally is better.
Lined into the glove of DeYoung and safe at second. The top of his jump timed perfectly by DeYoung to get the out.
I was saying usually at first base everything's in front of you, so it's easier. Second base, the ball being behind you, just like this.
Good play.
Ball's in front of you, you see it, plays right there, but that's why I thought second base would be a little bit tougher read, but guys say sometimes they get better jumps out there because they just have a better feel for how deep you are. And then the play comes up the next day.
Now top of the lineup, Mike Yastrzemski walked, grounded into the shift. You know, I'll say this about DeYoung. He is, without question, had a really rough start at the plate. But to his credit, it has not affected his defense.
Not even close.
And that, some players that this kind of start, the pressure that he's feeling, and he's feeling a lot of pressure. It gets carried over to the field defensively, and he hasn't done that.
If you think about it, where would you be without him at shortstop once in a while? Without the steadiness of that.
A ball and a strike on Yastrzemski. And there's no doubt he's got to pick it up offensively, but again, to his credit, defensively, he's been right there. And his metrics are well above average at short across the board in Major League Baseball. That goes for Sosa too. Yastrzemski with 2 outs, 1 for 14, and that one is a home run. 1-2 the count.
Cardinals with the exaggerated shift on the right side. 2 outs, 2 on, and the 1-2 pitch. Hung it, and it's a base hit into right field. A run will score. Yastrzemski with the 2-out hit. As mentioned earlier, this team scoring a bunch of their runs with 2 outs, and it makes it a 3-1 Cardinal lead.
I can't believe he kept that ball fair. That ball's up and in. It's probably in off the plate. To keep that ball fair, you really have to pull your hands in. Misses location. Where that ball's at. Hands inside the baseball right there, keeping it fair. It's a really good swing. Normally you see guys hit that ball and they hit it 400 feet, 50 yards foul.
And now Jock Peterson, be careful here with his power. Grounded into a double play, fly to left. Remember this time last year he was with the Chicago Cubs. He left the Dodgers. Cubs said, hey, we're going to give you a shot to play against lefties and righties. And then went to the Atlanta Braves as their outfield was decimated with injury and suspensions. Remade their outfield, and Jock Peterson a big part of the World Championship with the Atlanta Braves. The 0-1. Fly ball into center. Bader is back near the wall, leaps, and he's got it. And the Giants will strand a pair as Peterson gave it a ride. They get on the board with a 2-out hit from Yastrzemski, and it's 3-1.
St. Louis, last time out, career highs in innings pitched, strikeouts, pitches, and home runs allowed against Arizona. Cardinals came back from a 5-3 hole, won the game 7-5 that featured 6 home runs. Jordan Hicks on the mound tomorrow for St. Louis.
Did you see who was in the crowd tonight in between innings?
Julian Edelman?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Decent football player.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Tough.
Oh.
But then again, if you're in the NFL, I guess you have to be.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what size you are, you have to be tough.
It's stating the obvious.
Yeah.
Tyler O'Neill with a strikeout tonight and a double to left center. Santos came in with 1 out, 1 on in the 5th and got the final 2 outs. It's the 250th career hit with the double.
Last at bat for Tyler O'Neill and his very young career. Now he calls time.
How many pitchers do we have?
This is pitcher number 5 for the Giants. Still plenty to go. Don't you worry, Jimmy. A swing and a miss and a strikeout of O'Neill. Sunday, May 15th, 25,000 fans entering with a ticket. Receive the Ozzie Smith Funko Pop. Thanks to Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Cardinals.com/promotions. Cardinals finish up the road trip on Sunday, off day on Monday, and start a homestand Tuesday night. Juan Yepez 1 for 2 with an infield hit. He was robbed up the middle by Brandon Crawford. Beat it out for an infield hit, but that saved the Giants a run.
One heck of a play. I smell maybe a highlight reel for that one.
Ooh, inside, 2 balls and no strikes.
At a hundo.
Whew. Randy Johnson ever hit you?
No, thank God. I can't even believe you just said that. That scared me thinking about it. I'll tell you, the first time I faced him, they told me, which I wish they wouldn't have, the day before. And I thought about it all night.
Backing up Bossler, long throw, and makes the play.
First and only time I've ever done that.
Facing him,
Well, as a rookie, and they said, you're going to get some sleep tonight, big boy. You're facing Randy tomorrow. And I was like, oh, you're just kidding, right? Like, seriously. We got like 5 outfielders.
Put somebody else in?
Yeah, please. I got a double.
Hey.
I dragged the bat through the zone and slapped one down the left field line and ran like crazy.
Now Bader put one out in front of the plate that the catcher Casale hopped on and then hit it sharply to third second time up, turned into a 5-4-3 double play. And you know it's got to be hit hard with him running. I've often thought that Bader should even put the idea of a threat of a push bunt towards the right side just to keep the defenses we see all the time with him shift. Now they're not even as exaggerated as the Royals were. They had 3 guys on the left side.
I just can't wait till he starts to do more with 2 strikes going the other way, and then they're going to have to play him straight up. He's getting loose now.
Oof. Not going to do much with that. That's on the
Santos
black of the plate, down.
Came in throwing 96, and now he's up to 101. Okay, then.
Yes, sir.
About time for someone else to come in.
0-2 pitch.
You know, I just noticed too is, I mean, not just noticing, but I was looking out there in the bullpens and realized it's been a while since I've been here, but the funny story about that is I was told when they built this ballpark that they forgot to build bullpens.
Yes, sir.
Basically, in not so many words.
Well, you think about it, Jimmy, too. As much money is invested in these players,
It
and
just makes me laugh.
you could have an outfielder or even an infielder going for a ball down the left to right field lines and tripping over the mound, getting seriously hurt.
Those old ball guys used to fall over it all the time.
I worry about those guys. All of it.
Ouch.
Broken bat, slowly hit. Close at first, and he made the play. Vossler has come up with a couple of dandies against Harrison Bader.
Midway through 6, St. Louis on top 3-1.
Not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin, Wilmer Flores to lead it off. And then Brandon Crawford and Darren Ruff, 3, 4, and 5 here in the bottom of the 6 for Miles Michaelis to deal with, and next pitch will be number 70. Flores is 2 for 2, couple of singles tonight, and it's 1-1. Out of play, and it's 1 ball with 2 strikes. Wilmer's former team, the Mets, with a huge win tonight.
Wow. Wow.
What was it, 7 runs in the ninth?
They were down 7-1 in the ninth. Ended up winning 8-7 on the road in Philadelphia.
The fly ball into right field. And of all places to do it, in Philly.
In Philly.
Again, you know, can you imagine the boos from that crowd and the pressure right now under
Joe Girardi?
How about one of those days where you're just like, really? You can't even get one out? You can't get an out?
Man.
Somebody do something.
Now Brandon Crawford. Crawford, an all-star last year, 3-time all-star, couple of world championships in 2012 and
14 wearing this Giants uniform. And the Cardinals shift on the right side, and that's strike 1. Hit .298 last year with 24 home runs and drove in 90.
Native of the Bay Area, grew up a Giants fan. And the 0-1 pitch. They appeal and get the call, and it's 0-2.
And they had 2 pitchers get through 8 innings with 3 hits and 1 run. And the last 2 guys gave up 8 hits and 7 runs in 1 inning. Ouch.
It's a team that really has gone
only
all
1
in.
homer too.
You know, they signed Nick Castellanos. They bring in Kyle Schwarber. You have Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto. I mean, they've got a good team. Man.
And you know what? No walks. How many times do you see that? They didn't give him anything. They got hits. 8 hits. 8 hits in 1 inning.
Well, you think that's bad, but you could be the Reds.
Ooh.
And they are now 3-22. They've scored a total of 79 runs. That's fewest in the National League. 25 games, 79 runs.
Looking at that, and I keep thinking there's a misprint that they've had to. You mentioned this maybe a week ago, and I don't think they've won a game in that entire week, because I don't know if it's been longer than a week, but you said they've only won 3 games this year, and it's still the same.
I'm going to put it in perspective here in just a second. Here's a 2-2 pitch.
But they're almost out of the race.
Just past Tommy Edman and into right. The base hit for Crawford.
I'm going to go with it's been 9 days since you last said it, because they've lost 9 in a row.
So if they double the runs that they have scored, they've scored 79, double that, they would have still have allowed more than they would have scored. Their team ERA, their pitching staff, is 6.90. That's a full 2 runs behind the next team.
And I got a good one for you if you're a stats guy. Their run differential is -87.
Wow.
The next worst, Washington at -30. 57 more runs given up than Washington, who is 9-18.
Darren Ruff 0 for 2. Cardinals able to turn a double play back in the first. They've turned 25 this year, 3rd most in baseball.
Pitch.
Rockies have turned 36 to lead the game, and Baltimore 29.
Tell you what, that pitch is unhittable for a reason right there. That's down and in, nasty, but off the plate. Thank you very much. Need a double play here.
Andre Palante begins to throw for the Cardinals, and the 0-2 pitch by Miles. Hit out of play. He had Crawford at 0-2, lost him. Ruff is grounded to short, grounded to second. The bullpen's now in the gaps of left and right center, but just beyond the wall. Lynch yanked foul. I think the Cardinal bullpen hears it from those fans out there just a little bit.
You know what? They heard it hit down here down the line too. I know the guys that like being down there. It's really funny because when you come here before they changed the bullpens, it was weird because you come off the field and the dugout was so crowded. You're like, what's going on? And then you realize the entire bullpen is in the dugout.
Lined into right and caught by Dylan Carlson. Back to the bag goes Crawford at first.
So you're talking about another 10, 12, 13 guys, plus the bullpen coaches, the bullpen catchers. It's like 15, 17 guys in the dugout that are not normally in there. And you're like, okay, I got to sit down.
Well, this would be the only place that they were. I mean, even with the bullpen.
Chicago sometimes for a while back in the day. But yeah, you're right.
And now those are under the bleachers in Chicago.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 2 places needed to be a little bit of facelift in the bullpen situation. Those 2 were the one.
Here's Gonzalez, a double and a walk tonight, and looks at strike 1.
'26-year-old outfielder from Mexico. And a base hit to left. Crawford stops at second base. And a 2-out hit, 2 on for Estrada.
That's how teams score with 2 outs right there, Danny. Does a nice job. That ball's right down the middle. Doesn't try to do much. Stay on it. Kind of hitter that gives Michaelis, a guy like Michaelis, trouble with a lot of different pitches. It's a guy who's just going to stay in the zone and make contact.
maybe by design here with a runner at second, go over the signs, but also slow him down just a little bit.
Yep.
Catch your breath.
Here comes someone out of the dugout. It's so funny. It's like dark down there.
That's Ali
It
Marmol,
is, huh?
and that may be it for Miles. Now remember, in his last start, Ali went with Miles, who had not given up a run, remember, against Arizona. And I asked Ali about that. I said, you stuck with him? And he said, yep, bad managing. I said, well, you know, you're giving a guy your shot. He's pitching so well. He said, yep, bad managing. He said, you can sit there and second guess it. And he said, I don't. He said, it was just bad managing.
Wait, he wouldn't give you another answer?
He said, I should have gone with my bullpen. He said, I'd rested bullpen for some guys. Miles had done his job. Should have gotten him out of there. This time he's going to stay with him.
What if he went out there and asked them what they were going to get Katie for their wedding? What are you guys doing out here right now? Let's go.
Katie.
Bull Durham?
Oh.
Wasn't the name, but I just threw that out there.
That's my mom's name, so why not?
All right.
Because you don't usually see the manager go out there. Hey, what are we going to do about this?
Well, usually if he goes out there, it's to make the change. And this is a second time I can remember him saying, I'm not doing that. Pitch, a strike to Estrada. It was Steven Matz earlier this year. He went out and he said, Matz gave me the normal response, which is, I can get this guy. And he said, I don't want to hear that. How are you going to get the hitter? And I bet that may have been the conversation with Miles.
Well, I like it, too, because think about it. He used to be the bench coach. He's a middle infielder kind of guy, infield coach, and maybe just wanted to figure out what they're all going to do together, right? I want to know what's going to happen here. What do we think? Not just about getting this guy out, but how are we going to play him? How are we going to pitch him? Are we all on the same page together? And that's where I think the manager probably wants to know, versus maybe sending the pitching coach out and just talking pitching.
0-2 the count with 2 runners on and 2 outs. That pitch taken high. Thairo Estrada leads the Giants with 14 runs batted in.
It's Millie, Danny. I'm sorry. It's Millie. It's Millie's wedding. Thanks, Mr. Hyatt. I stand corrected.
I was just trying to figure out who Kate was. I couldn't put 2 and 2 together.
Just throwing it out there. Well, my mom's texting me now, so I made her happy.
You have a lot of people texting you, Jimmy.
Well, Dan Hyatt correcting me, and then my mom saying hi. We are on the West Coast. I'm getting closer to home.
That's fouled back.
Or my old home.
1-2 the count. Giants picked up a run batted in with 2 outs. And that was in the 5th inning. They have 51 runs batted in with 2 down, 3rd most in baseball. Milwaukee, Mets, and now the Giants. The 1-2 pitch inside, 2-2. We're trying to get Miles to one more guy. And whatever happens here, more than likely this would be it.
Oh, you got to get him. You'd like to see him get to this inning. He still only has 91 pitches, so. But at the same time, the manager has gone out there in the past and saying, this is your last hitter. Let's go. And Millie needs some China.
23rd pitch of the inning. Fouled back. Michael is trying to send us to the 7th inning. We'll do it again.
I would like it a little bit better if he got that ball down.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he's probably a little bit on fumes right now, and pitches will get up. Let's see if he can't finish him off.
Pitch number 8 of the at-bat. Off the plate. And the runners will be taken off with his 3-2 with 2 down. Two pitch, and the base is loaded. Third walk by Michaelis.
I think that's okay right there. I really do. I think that he got himself into a situation where he thought it through. Didn't want to throw another fastball, and you know you got a lefty in the bullpen. So I'm going to see if I can't get a strikeout here, maybe a swing and miss. And if not, I got somebody back there can back me up.
That'll be it for Miles Michaelis. Palante coming in. Bases loaded. 2 down when we come back. Car and truck of the Cardinals. BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better.
And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Statue of Juan Marichal just outside Oracle Park. And now the bases are loaded. Andre Palante is in. Last time out was back on the first against Arizona when an inning and 2/3. Did give up a home run. 30 pitches in that game. He's 4th among National League rookie relievers, 11 and 2/3.
It's a big spot right here.
Absolutely.
A couple days off at least.
He has been really good against the lefties. That's one of the reasons why you use him in this spot, knowing that Vossler is coming up. Lefties are 2 for 23. The right-handers 9 for 22.
Nasty breaking ball right there. That's interesting.
And it's an all right-handed bench right now. Austin Slater, Joey Bart, and Mauricio Dubon, the 3 on the bench for the Giants, all right-handed hitters. And the 0-1 pitch by Palante with the bases loaded. 0-2. Gets the call on the corner.
Miles is like, get me out of this.
The 0-2. And time is called. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Little chopper hit left side. Arenado will make the play. Palante gets a key out in this game and sends us to the 7th inning. The Giants strand the bases loaded. 3-1 as we head to the 7th.
Northern California, San Francisco 3-1 our score. Michaelis 5 2/3 gave up a run. Yadier Molina is 2 for 2 with his solo homer. Luis Gonzalez 2 for 2, and Mike Yastrzemski has the run batted in for the Giants. The 6th pitcher in for San Francisco in the bullpen start is Jake McGee. Many years with the Rockies, and now here staying in the NL West with the Giants. And McGee has Molina, Carlson, and DeYoung. The 35-year-old Jake McGee.
Fastball slider. Fastball around 93, 94.
Nothing at 2. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Career home run number 172 for Yadier Molina. And he's tied with Hall of Famer Ted Simmons, 9th on the Cardinals home run list, franchise history. 1 RBI away from 1,000. And the 0-2 is lifted in the air to left field, and Darren Rupp for the first out. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Here's Carlson, struck out back in the 3rd. And an infield hit, run scored in the 5th. Came home on the base hit to center that brought in 2 by Tommy Edman. It's interesting watching Ali now a couple of times, as we mentioned earlier, going out to the starting pitcher and visiting with him and not taking him out. It's more of a conversation to see where they're at.
That's kind of old school.
It's very much old school. Yeah.
Well, you know, the other thing too is, if you think about it, he's the youngest manager in the game, so he can actually walk out there more than once or twice a game.
So
Tony's like, I'm not going out there until I have to.
So it comes down to whether or not you can walk from the dugout to the mound. Okay.
Yes, more than once. Actually, too, I always thought at some point with the older managers, they'd be like, hey, do me a favor, can you go get him?
I think, you know, they used to do that.
Him and Dunk. But him and Dunk would be like, no, I'm not doing it, you do it. No, I'm not doing it, you do it. They would argue about it.
I know I would not have wanted to taken out Bob Gibson or Chris Carpenter. No. No thanks.
I'll tell you what, though, being a competitor like Carp, he had so much respect for everyone, and he knew when his time was up. But
lifted in the air out to deep left. Does it have a chance at the wall? It's off the wall, and Carlson to second base as Darren Ruff was crashing into the wall in left, and a 1-out double for Dillon.
that's got to be a double right there. He doesn't turn and run. He just kind of sidesteps it. So that told me that ball's over his head, maybe a homer, because if he turns and goes, he catches this ball easy.
And the problem is when you're sidestepping like that, look at his head. See it bouncing? That means the ball's bouncing. Whenever you see somebody's head bouncing like that, it is so hard to catch the ball.
And now it is Paul DeYoung, who's 1 for 4 head-to-head against this lefty with a double. 0 for 2 tonight, fly to right, grounded out to first.
Oh, good swing.
So you say good swing. What do you like about that swing?
That he was trying to hit the ball to right center field right there. He wasn't selling out. He wasn't anticipating. He wasn't trying to pull. It was he was going at the ball, and he saw it was away, and he stayed out over the plate. That ball was a little outside and it probably over the plate. Got a really good chance to make good solid contact. Hopefully that continues right here.
0-2.
There's something in that swing in the back side of it that is causing him not to get to the fastball like he used to. And I don't know if it's because his body is traveling farther than it normally does with a bigger stride, which causes the hands to kind of slowly drop and take longer to get to the ball, or there's a little tiny hitch in the back that's not allowing him to get his hands triggered in time. But something's causing him not to get to the ball on time.
By the way, Jake McGee, watch his, he's getting the sign and he puts his It's almost like you can't hear, you know, and that's what's going on here.
He puts turn it up.
He puts his left hand up towards his left ear to hear pitch comm being delivered to his hat.
Like the quarterback in the huddle.
There you go.
He's got both hands over his ear holes.
So the catcher, Casale, punches it up, then delivered to the hat. And then verbally given the signs to his pitcher. And the 0-2 pitch. And I think that's what you're talking about there, Jimmy.
And that's just coming off of it a little bit. It's hard to tell if he's not catching up or he's just not getting to it. But it's just not the same swing as far as quickness. He's just a tad behind pitches, and that's not normal for him, and that is the struggles. Because what happens is, you know, you're not catching up,
so you try to make yourself catch up, and that causes you actually to be a little bit longer.
I don't know about you. I mean, there's times I watch him swing and I think he's getting to the ball.
It's right there, and then all of a sudden it's
long,
yeah.
And he's
and that doesn't look long from this angle, but just not getting to the ball like he used to.
It's Tommy Edman, another 2-hit night for Tommy.
Can't help but think that everyone's firing fastballs too at 95, 96, and not making it easy to hit, especially when you're struggling. Not like there's a lack of pitching out there.
Jake McGee had a terrific season last year for the Giants, 31 saves. And the 1-0 pitch taken in.
Just firing fastballs in there.
Came up in 2010, did McGee with Tampa Bay. Then 4 years with Colorado, spent a year, the shortened season of 2020 with the Dodgers. Last year, he was with the Giants.
Tell you what, you gotta love to have a lefty that comes out of the bullpen and fires fastballs for strikes.
And doing it at the age of 35,
yeah,
well traveled.
Like, yeah,
I mean,
not afraid.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
firing it in there. Here you go, hit it. I think I got just enough sneaky gas to get my fastball in on your hands. And interesting too, he just keeps going away, up and away, right there.
2-2.
I thought that going back, I wanted to say something, but it went too quick. You know, sometimes you miss location and it gets
punished. He missed location with Yachty, and I thought that was a good thing for him, because if he would have thrown fastballs up and away to Yachty, Yachty would have stayed above and might have just filleted into right field. But he kind of crossfired it on accident and got in on it. He's the one guy that you really don't want to climb the ladder on.
No, he gets on top of it. We'll take it to right. 2 outs, runner at second, 2-2. And a foul ball. You think about the starters now, including tonight. Waino 6 starts, a 3.18 ERA. Michaelis now
his 6th start, 1.53 is ERA. Matz is giving you nearly 24 innings. Hudson, an ERA just above 3. So those 4 have done their job, and then you're still building up with Jordan Hicks. The 2-2 pitch. Up the middle and a base hit for Tommy Edman. Here comes Carlson. Tommy Edman, a 3-hit night, and he's driven in 3 of the 4 runs for St. Louis.
How about that for your leadoff hitter? See, I was right. He should have been up there the whole time.
And a 2-out RBI single for Edman.
Tell you what, Tommy is now getting really close to
being about 330, 329 to be exact. Pretty good start.
and extends the inning to Goldschmidt. Hitless tonight, trying to extend his on-base streak to 13.
I think some of these opposing coaches, managers, and pitchers think, how is it that every time I turn the TV on, the Cardinals are stealing bases standing up? That's got to kind of make you think about it a little bit. You go into a pitcher's meeting and say, hey, be careful, they'll all run.
And there's a base hit out to left. Edman to second. Thought about going to third base. Retreats back to the bag, and Goldie has reached base now in 13 consecutive games.
I think he would have been safe right there if he would have taken a chance.
Been close, but I'm with you.
But smart play with 2 outs.
And they extend the inning to Nolan Arenado. Tommy Edman has been on base 7 of his last 10 plate appearances. Second 3-hit game, first 3 RBI game of the season for Tommy. While we have a moment, a quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Want to deposit your birthday check right from your phone? Don't waste your wish. You can send money, check your balance, and yes, take care of those checks in a snap. All with the Great Southern mobile app.
Pitch number 19 coming up for McGee, and it may be a pitching change here.
He might not make that number 19, I don't think.
So they had 2 up in their pen. They're going to go with the right-hander. Health. That's for the Orioles series coming up. Baltimore will be in town. Logian Pavilion tickets for $5. Field box tickets for only $15. Cardinals.com/5. And the new pitcher in is Tyler Rogers. Taylor is his twin. Tyler, submariner. Knuckles barely staying off the ground. He was at Garden City Community College, where he became a submarine pitcher. And the coach said, well, you're not getting people out traditionally with the traditional motion, so let's try something else.
Throw it underhand, or we're going to go to the knuckleball.
So he comes in with 2 outs and 2 on. Nolan Arenado at the plate. Floats in at 69.
These guys are tough on the left side, too. Some of them are just a little so funky. You know, because you're so used to just picking up his shoulder, his hat, the glove up above, and then all of a sudden, I had somebody one time tell me, just focus on his shoe tops until you see the arm come around. I'm like, wait, are you kidding?
Good play by Casale.
That was a 2-hopper to the plate.
I was doing a game, and Vlad Guerrero hit one right off the ground, bounced. Got a base hit to right.
I think that would have been in spring training, because I remember that at some point, and then I believe the same day or the next day he hit one over his head out of the ballpark. And I was thinking to myself, who is this guy? It was early when I first got there.
He did it in Montreal.
Oh.
The game I remember, we were in Olympic Stadium, and it bounced kind of outer half, but in front of the plate, maybe a half foot or something like that. Took it to right.
Stayed inside it.
It's unbelievable. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Last year, Rogers went 7-1, appeared in 80 games, and had a 2.22 ERA. 81 innings. He had a really good season. His ERA was about 1.5 at the All-Star break. 3-1 pitch. And it's taken high.
So the Cardinals will have the bases loaded. All this done now with 2 outs.
I don't know if I'd want to walk a guy right here to get to the bases loaded, but I'm almost thinking this might be a better matchup for him than Arenado. I think that's the thing with some of these guys, they're specialty guys. If you're patient, I feel like they're the guys that try to get you to get yourself out. And when they're not on, they're going to throw some balls around the plate. And you got to be careful.
So 2 outs and the bases loaded. Tyler O'Neill struck out twice and also a double into the gap in left center. Cardinals lead it 4-1. The 0-1. 0-2.
Crank that one up a little bit. 70.
Also, his ball kind of rises too with the fastball. I guess it has to when you're throwing it about an inch off the ground.
I was just going to say, has he thrown a fastball yet?
Tyler O'Neill does not own a grand slam yet in his young career. 313, 5 for 16 in this spot. A little quick pitch that time. You can see Tyler looking back at the home plate umpires to say, hey, let me get settled in. The 1-2 pitch. O'Neill, a base hit into center. 2 runs will score. The throw goes into third. Runners at the corners, and the Cardinals keep on going as 4 straight have reached with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
It's a great job by O'Neill. If you're going to face a guy like this, out over the plate is where you have to look. That ball underneath you would be tough to keep fair, and he does it. He waits. He doesn't try to do too much, and he gets the ball up. Great job. Tell you what, that makes your day right there when you get a base hit off a guy like that, and then 2 RBIs a boot, and that is call home and be like, I did a great job tonight, Mom and Dad.
Now Yepez, 1 for 3 tonight, and there's a strike. So the inning started with Molina flying to left, Carlson a double off the wall, strikeout of DeYoung, and then with 2 outs, Edman a base hit, Goldie a base hit, walk to Arenado, O'Neill the base hit with the bases loaded. Cardinals have picked up 3 here in this 7th inning. Base hit into right for Yepez. He drives in his first in the big leagues, his 2nd hit tonight, and it makes it a 7-1 St. Louis lead.
I'll tell you what, that's showing me something right there. That's good hitting. He stays inside the ball. He doesn't try to do too much. Stays on the slider, takes the fastball inside. This is a nice piece of hitting. You can see that he did it on, it's not an accident. It still cracks me up that if you think about it, that's a ground ball right at the second baseman for 100 years.
And a guy playing in his 2nd major league game.
But the thing is, he's throwing, like, common sense says he's throwing sliders middle away, and anyone who tries to pull it's not going to hit the ball hard. The only place you're going to hit the ball hard is the other way, and you're giving the whole other way wide open.
Now runners at first and second for Bader. 9th man to come to the dish. The 1-1 to Harrison Bader on its way. And Bader lifts a fly ball out to deep right field. Going back, Gonzalez spun around a bit, and he'll make the catch. Cardinals with 5 hits, 4 runs. Yepez brings in his first in the big leagues, and it's 7-1.
7-1. The outfield at Oracle Park is expansive and a little different. Harrison Bader told me it's a little funky. He said there's more real estate to cover, but you can't let that take you out of your game. As much as you want to guard against the extra base hits in the right center gap, it's important to play the hitter and play the situation. If they clip one in that direction, we'll deal with it then. Dan Harrison says the outfield a little funky here.
It's really like Death Valley out there in right center. Triples Alley. Ichiro had the first ever inside the park home run at an All-Star game, and it was right here
off that wall.
Palmonte came in with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the home half of the 6th and was able to get Vossler to ground out. Here's Kurt Casale.
I'll tell you what, you think about that thing too, that makes what Barry Bonds did all that more special. Big ballpark to right center field. Now, if that cuts across, does he have another 50 homers? That's 415, and the ball doesn't carry to right.
Well, if he's playing at Yankee Stadium, he's playing
He's got another 100 homers.
Cincinnati, yeah.
Can you imagine? I would love to just ask. You know, it'd be a great question. Be like, hey, if you're playing in, I mean, I wonder if he would answer you correctly, and I would guarantee you the number would be in the 50s if he would say, without saying another 1,000, how many balls you just miss as a normal player, let alone a guy like that who hits the ball 410 feet and it's an out. Because I hit a couple of balls in Pittsburgh that I killed, and they were doubles or outs in left center field.
Well, he was good enough, too, to tailor his swing to a ballpark. So, for instance, you're playing in Houston, you're a left-handed hitter, and you are able to drive the ball to left, you're going to get some home runs.
That was money right there.
You learn to play the wall,
Boston.
the green monster, right?
Mo Vaughn told me that made him a better hitter.
I bet. You probably stay on the ball as a left-handed hitter, knowing that if you can just get it to that wall, it's extra bases.
Yeah, I really tried to do that in Houston, and I think it made me a better hitter during some of those games because I really tried to stay on the ball.
There's a 1-0 pitch to Yastrzemski following the walk. And there's a strike, 1-1. Cardinals lead it 7-1 as they picked up 4 runs in the top half of this inning.
That was funny. One time the guy was tipping his pitches and I knew changeup was coming, and I waited so long that I fouled it off. And Osmus looked up at me and he said, "You're literally trying to hit it into those seats, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, wouldn't you?"
But Jimmy, a little different for you than Brad Osmus. 4-6-3. Safe at first. Now, Brad was not known
Well,
for
he was
his
a right-handed hitter too.
offensive prowess, but smart,
Give you a great
very good defensive player.
Give you a great at bat.
Yeah, he did. Cardinals taking a look to see if they turn 2, and they will challenge. So late, they feel good about this, apparently. I initially thought he was safe, but we'll take a look.
It's Bill Miller, the crew chief, also the home plate umpire tonight. Doug Eddings at first, Roberto Ortiz at second, Junior Valentine is at third.
Wow. So close.
It's so close that I think they may say safe and stay with the call on the field. Usually if that's the tiebreaker, it is to the call on the field. And also it's the interpretation of when it is in the glove.
I'll tell you what, he did a great job stepping on the front of the bag. He steps on the middle of the bag, he's out.
Yep.
If you're looking at that replay, just me and you talking, are you looking at the glove, or are you looking at the foot, or are you trying to look at both?
I go to both.
It's tough. Imagine doing it in real life, full speed as an umpire.
I've talked to the umpire. I've said, what are you looking at? And they say they tried it in addition to seeing
Foot,
everything,
right?
but hear it too.
It's the foot and the listening to the glove.
Yep.
But how do you
After
do it?
review, the call is overturned.
Wow.
The runner is out.
So it's like he didn't step
St.
on
Louis
the
will
bag.
retain their challenge.
So the Cardinals turned their second double play of this game. And a challenge well used.
That was interesting. That had to be probably the closest one I've ever seen to a bang bang being reversed.
And it brings in Jock Peterson. He grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in the first. Fly to left and then fly to deep center with 2 runners on back in the 5th. A shift on the right side of the infield.
That angle from behind almost looked like he didn't step on the bag.
It's close, yeah. Now, Palante not only is giving the Cardinals quality outings, but some length too. Ollie's using him beyond just an inning many times. Curveball in there for a strike, 1-1. So double play number 26 on the year. 10th game this season where the Cardinals have turned at least 2.
And hit up the middle into the shift. Paul DeYoung. Palante, good work. 8th inning rolls in where we come back to San Francisco. 10-0 win over the Royals yesterday. So 12 games in which they've had 5 or more runs. 11 games with 2 runs or fewer. Feast or famine right now for the Cardinal offense. And tonight, they lead this ball game 7 runs. They lead it 7-1. And the new pitcher in is Yarlin Garcia. It's the 8th pitcher used by the Giants tonight. The Chevy called to the pen, and Chevrolet has got their money's worth.
They have. Still working on this. This has got to be close to a record. And I believe the record is 9. And I believe we might have a shot at it.
They've got, let's see, 2 more down there they can use. Might see a position player come in this game, depending on what happens this inning.
So does that mean he's not a pitcher, so it doesn't count?
Oh, it counts. Just seeing what the
one more for the tie then.
Arms would be that are normally pitchers coming into a game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yadier Molina with a home run today. And Yadi hits a fly ball to Darren Ruff in left. And the first out here in the top of the 8th. Dylan Carlson with 2 hits. Struck out his first time up. Infield hit, run scored in the 5th. Doubled off the wall last inning. Almost got his first home run of the year and came around to score his 2nd run. Yarlin Garcia has pitched now in 7 2/3 innings and has yet to allow a run. If you go back to last season, his ERA at home is .93. Really good here at this ballpark. Nick Whitgren throwing for St. Louis in their bullpen. And the 1-0 pitch taken for a ball inside. The 2-0 to Dylan Carlson. Taps it out in front of the plate. Caselli makes the play. In steps Paul DeYoung.
A lot of tappers today, huh?
Yep. Yarlin Garcia was a soccer player. Did not pick up a baseball until he was 15. Grew up in the Dominican Republic. That's hard to do. Not pick up a baseball in the Dominican
yeah,
Republic
for sure.
Until you're 15. All those kids playing baseball. Pitch taken high. Paul is 0 for 3. Fly to right, grounded out to first, and struck out. Here's a 1-0 pitch. A ball and a strike. Two and 1. Three and 1. Well, you're going to get a pitch here. 3 and 1 with a lead of 7-1. Let's see if Paulie can't do something here.
You hope, for his sake. Probably going to get a changeup. Oof. It's just under. It looks like he's underneath that, but I think that's because it's late.
The 3-2 pitch to DeYoung. In the air to right field. And Gonzalez with the catch. 1, 2, 3 go the Cardinals, and we're midway through 8. of a 4-game set in San Francisco with 12 hits and a 7-1 lead. And Nick Wittgren is in, but Andre Palante comes in, and again a tight game, tight spot, 2 outs, bases loaded back in the 6th. Was able to retire Vossler. He had a leadoff walk then in the 7th. That was erased on a double play and got a ground out. So good job by Andre Palante after 5 2/3 from Michaelis. Gave up a run on 7 hits, struck out 3, did walk 3. And now Nick Wittgren to face 3, 4, and 5.
Flores, Crawford, and Ruff for the San Francisco Giants. And the first pitch hit to center, and there is Bader. And the first out. Wilmer Flores 2 for 4. And the batter will be Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you hit the nail on the head with Palante too. He has done such a nice job in 8 games. He's given up 2 runs so far. He has shut the door pretty much every time he's asked.
And his value just keeps going up and up and up.
It's just fun to watch when you get a young guy with that kind of stuff. Kind of just comes and throw him in the fire. And you know, and the thing that's impressive to me is the curveball control in the heat. You know, and in big innings.
Wittgren, 2 pitches and 2 outs. Who says that
another
pitchers
tapper
can't run? He makes the play.
Tell you what, he looks like a stud athlete. When you stand next to him, he's big, tall, lean. It's like one of those guys when you say, this guy played basketball in college, you wouldn't doubt it.
Right now for Gabe Kapler, they're looking at what could be a 4-game losing skid and dropping 6 of 7. And you see you're down by the score of 7-1. And now in the 8th inning, 2 pitches. 2 outs. That is frustrating right there for him, as they're not scoring a bunch, and the starter's ERA is near 6. Reliever's ERA near 7.
The guy that takes the brunt of this is the hitter right here. He's got to take a pitch.
And that's Darren Ruff. He is grounded out to short, to second, and lined out to right.
And he's thinking to himself, of course, I just got a heater down the middle for the first time all day.
A 1 pitch. Missed in. Ball and a strike. And the 1-1.
You hear your my left field and left center field fans giving the old chant out there that he's a bum. Welcome to San Francisco, outfielders.
2-1 pitch. Now 2-2. I would imagine we'd have a big crowd on Saturday as they'll honor in a pregame ceremony Buster Posey, who was the 5th overall pick in 2008, 12 years in San Francisco, MVP, 3-time world champ. And really does go out on top. He had a terrific season a year ago as an all-star. Two and two, the count with 2 outs and nobody on. Darren Ruff at the plate, and the next from Nick Wittgren. Ground ball and a base hit to left. Giants with their 8th hit and a single to left.
Too much plate with the fastball.
And Gonzalez 2 for 2 with a walk. He doubled to left center back in the 2nd, walked in the 5th, and a single to left in the 6th. 2 outs, runner at first. And a strike. One of the reasons the Cardinals wanted to get Nick Wittgren is that, for the most part, strike thrower and high ground ball percentage when he's right. Fills up the strike zone. And the 0-1. 0-2 as it tails away from Gonzalez.
It's a good changeup
Trying to send us to the 9th inning. And the 0-2. And with 2 strikes, Goldie playing behind Ruff now. Left-handed batter at the plate. Outfield pretty shallow too. Big gap in right center. And the 1-2 to Gonzalez. Tapped foul.
This is Nick's 5th game this week. He's been getting more and more opportunities. Like you said, you go out there and you throw strikes, you get more chances to pitch.
And the 1-2. Slow roller up the first base line. That'll roll foul. The 1-2 again. Nick Whitgren. Fly ball to left. Carries 2. Tyler O'Neill. Giants have left 8 on. Sends us to the 9th. Scoreless inning for Whitgren. Lewis, the Cardinal leadoff man, a double down the first base line. Singled in 2 in the 5th. And then a 2-out RBI base hit in the 7th. The Budweiser player of the game. I know you're going to find this shocking, but we have a new pitcher in. And this will be Sam Long. And this will be the 9th pitcher used by the Giants.
So, I'm going to do your job for a second. I've done a lot of research.
All right.
And I've reached out to a few different people. And I'm fairly confident from the people that I've talked to that this is this is tying a major league record with 9 pitchers used in a game, in a 9-inning game. Let me go one step further. No team has ever used 9 pitchers without giving up less than 3 runs, which is, I don't know why that's out there, but I guess that's the benchmark, the 4th run. But so we have tied a major league record with 9 pitchers being used in a 9-inning game.
I don't believe you.
I know. I'm having a hard time believing it too. But think about it.
Oh, I know. It's a
9
pitcher per
innings,
inning.
9 pitchers.
I get it.
And we were and one of their guys only got 1 out, or we would have only had 8.
They've got Doval, a right-hander, available left among the pitchers. And they got a 3-man bench.
I was reading a thing that said that Joe Madden was the last person to do it, and it was in a playoff game, and he was going matchup for matchup against
John Farrell with the Red Sox.
So he was doing that with Tampa Bay, yeah.
Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And it says that in a 9-inning game, postseason game, was the record, and he had David Price warming up for a potential 10th inning.
Now, I do remember a game in which he was doing that, mixing and matching, but I didn't recall whether or not it was 9 pitchers. I thought maybe it was like 5 or 6, which, you know, Tampa Bay is prone to do that. Use the opener, and there's a high fly ball lifted out to left.
That's a high fly ball.
And Darren Ruff, thank you, Jimmy, will make the catch, and that is out number 2.
And it says right here, since 1916, when allowing 3 runs or less, no manager has used 9 pitchers in a 9-inning game. I mean, we could go on, but fairly confident with the help of Mr. Dan Hyatt that we're at 9.
All right.
Now, tomorrow we might have a different stat.
Nolan Arenado 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored.
Is it crazy that it's happened in a postseason game?
That one does surprise me.
It actually has happened 3 times in a postseason game.
It's Packy Naughton. Pitched yesterday as Nolan pops it up to the right side, and will it get out of play? Yes, it will. Well, Long worked on Sunday, went 2 1/3 in relief of Alex Cobb. Cardinals with Hicks going tomorrow, and Alex Cobb scheduled to start for the Giants. We thought we were going to get Logan Webb tonight, and it turned into this bullpen game for San Francisco. And Nolan draws the walk, his second walk tonight. Tyler O'Neill with a 2-hit night, a double and a single with the bases loaded back in the 7th that brought in 2. And he now has 19 runs batted in this year.
This right here could be the ultimate turnaround with another hit. This would really get you going.
With the triple home run yesterday, then a 3-hit night potentially here.
Really nice
in this game. And a strike. Breaking ball drops in. Played with that swing, 0-2. Does have 1 3-hit game this year. That was at Milwaukee. And the 0-2 pitch to Tyler O'Neill. Got him. The strikeout sends us to the home half of the 9th. The Cardinals with the lead. 7-1. The right-hander. And our Chevy called to the pen. Off to a good start with a 1.17 ERA. Cody Whitley, 7-1 our score. And Cody will get Estrada, Vossler, and Casale. Estrada's grounded out to short, grounded into a fielder's choice, and scored in the 5th, walked in the 6th. Whitley, the 4th pitcher used by the Cardinals. Michaelis, 5 2/3, 1 run on 7 hits. And again, Andre Palante comes in with 2 outs, the bases loaded, tight game in the 6th. Gets out of that, gives you another scoreless inning. Whitgren, the scoreless 8th, and now Whitley here in this 9th inning. 0-2 the count. Ooh.
Let's go. You've seen it.
I would imagine the Cardinals are close to getting Drew Verhagen back. Left with a hip impingement. Made a start the other day for Memphis. Rehab assignment. And the 0-2 pitch. Outside. 1-2. And a ground ball left side. Arenado settles and makes the play. A little tangled up with the feet, but was able to keep his balance and make the play.
They call it the hot corner. Going to go back to what we talked about the other day in survival mode. Just survive the ground ball. Sometimes it's not as easy as it looks.
I was trying to think of these postseason games in which 9 pitchers have been used. That may have been the postseason game with the Padres. Remember, they had that bullpen start in 2020 in San Diego against the Cardinals. They may have used 9 pitchers that night. They used a bunch. Here's a 1-1 pitch, fouled back by Vossler.
Well, if you want me to tell you,
I can tell you. One was the ALDS. It was Tampa Bay versus Boston. And what's interesting is these are all recent. 2013. The World Series, 2005, Chicago and Houston.
And there's a strikeout of Vossler.
And 99 NLCS, New York Mets against the Atlanta Braves. And that is it, my friend.
I want to say, I think that San Diego game may have been 9.
What year would you like to say that would be in?
2020.
Let me look it up.
I think it got to 9. Could be wrong.
I don't think you're ever wrong, so that's why I'm looking for it. There you go.
There's Kurt Casale, and that's tap foul as the Giants are down to their final out.
And I have confirmed that you are right.
All right, then.
I don't know if you're ever wrong. No, your memory is wicked. Wicked bad.
I'm wrong all the time, Jimmy. There's an 0-1 pitch to Casale. That's fouled back, and it's 0-2. Giants down to their final strike.
You'll never believe this. I just got a text message from Adam Wainwright, and he said exactly what you're talking about.
There you go.
So he is listening to us.
Thank you, Wayno. He was up in the booth with us earlier.
Yes, he was. He did a great job, too.
No, I mean, today he was up here.
Oh.
He was on his
before I got here.
After the start,
Gotcha.
and he was walking around, and I was doing some notes, and he said, Danny Mac, and we had a nice quick visit.
That's funny.
There's a 1-2.
I love it. He's rolling around here. He was up here to find John Miller, and John has the night off. And then he went down to the video room and said, hey, will you play this song when we're out there? And they said, no problem, we'll play that for you. So they did that for him, and then we had a nice little chat. He was great yesterday. The 1-2. He says, yeah, that's what happens when you throw strikes and keep the ball down. I said, well, you did that yesterday, that's for sure.
Oh, and he told me that to tell you that he sent this to me last inning, but because I had my phone down, I didn't see it. So he might have been the quickest on the draw of all of us.
Now, Jimmy, you with your phone down? I'm
face down, I said.
Well, whatever. I find that shocking.
Well, the computer and the iPad and the Dan Hyatt's notes and the texting with Dan Hyatt, trying to get these pitchers in order. Just excited we saw a major league record tied today.
Out of play, 2-2 with 2 outs and nobody on. Jimmy, come to the ballpark, you don't know what you're gonna see.
You never know. You all right? You all right over there?
Yeah, I gotta reach for something down here. All right, Whitley with the 2-2 with 2 outs and nobody on.
Drop your pen, my friend?
Yes, sir.
What color would you have dropped right about now? I can't see which one's missing.
It's my black pen. And I got blue.
What'd you say green was for?
That's for errors.
Errors and
hit by
homers?
pitches.
Oh, hit by pitches, that's right.
Line got a base hit to left. 2-out hit for Casale to extend the ball game.
And here the other day, I thought you gave me green because you don't use it to use.
Well, that was part of the reason I don't have to use it all that much. I figured you're going to be writing so much, feverishly.
You had to ask for
preparing.
it back.
So I wanted to make sure that one of the pens I gave you had plenty of ink.
That one has plenty. Let's hope that has plenty.
So the 2-out base hit, and Yastrzemski, he is walked as an RBI single. That came with 2 outs in the 5th, and a strike.
Goldie playing behind the runner with a left-handed bat up. Cardinals with a shift on the right side. Hits it the other way, and that's a base hit. So back-to-back singles with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. And now Jock Peterson up for the 5th time tonight. Grounded into a double play. He flied to left with 2 runners on in the 5th. Sent one to the wall in center and grounded into the shift in the 7th inning. Two outs, 2 on. Good changeup and strike 1.
Jock was trying to hit that 6-run homer right there. Haven't seen one of those in a while.
I'm sure I can never remember one. Take your word for it.
If anyone knows, you would.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Peterson. How about that? Back-to-back changeups.
At least you know he's not looking for that.
He was spun around. So 0-2, and again the Giants down to their final strike here in game 1 of this 4-game series.
Some of the Cardinal fans making noise here in San Francisco.
The 0-2 fouled away. Post-game show coming up. Whitley trying to send us there. 0-2 the count. And spoiled by Peterson.
That's such an uncomfortable feeling. Being in the box and just not really seeing the ball, and he's just like survival mode with swinging the bat great too. Some homers. He's got an average and just not liking that changeup too much. Just be careful you don't leave one up there for him to hit.
Yachty drops to a knee. The 0-2. Ooh.
Ouch.
Doesn't get the call. 1-2.
See, Yachty stood up and probably blocked the umpire right there, and the ball bounced back down. Well, just
missed it.
Yeah, he just missed it.
If you're Ollie, you're saying, let's get this out here. Is Whitley now up to 25 pitches? Nobody throwing in the St. Louis pen, and the 1-2 pitch to Jock Peterson. Stays alive. Another changeup.
Off the palm.
Taken high. 2-2.
Changeup up there.
Let's go, Doc! Make sure you got shit on
you. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. The Cardinals take game 1 of the 4-game series here in San Francisco by the final of 7-1. The Cardinals send 9 to the plate in the 7th. That busted it open, and they hold on for the 7-1 win.
The Giants used 9 pitchers to get through this game. Something I didn't think I'd ever see. Another good job by the pitching staff. I think that was an incredible job they did today. It's kind of a long game, a slow game, but they held it together. Finished it off right there at the end.
So off to the post-game show. Another big night for Tommy Edman. Cardinals were with a 12-hit attack. They put up 7 runs. Michaelis picks up the win as he gets some run support tonight. He's now 2-1. Stay with us. Cardinals coverage continues on Valley Sports Midwest.